Forget the price. Ain't never been there. They tell me it's nice. I live in hotels, stare at the walls. I haven't time to pay for it all. This is crazy. I'm on the time. Just looking at the blues, cream of the ground. My Maserati does 185. I lost my license, now I don't drive. I have a limo right in the back. I lock the doors in case I'm attacked. I'm making records, my fans, they can't wait. They write me letters, tell me I'm great. So I got me an office, go records on the wall. Just leave a message, maybe I'll call. Lucky I'm saying, Sometimes until more. It's hard to leave when you can't find the door.
Yeah. Hey, good morning. And it's Monday, November 3rd, 2025. There will never be another Monday, November 3rd, 2025. We're going to have to make the most of it. Thank you for joining me on Dangerous with Coffee with Brian Cates. Well, here we are again, kicking off a new week in the new American Golden Age. And Donald Trump is back from his Asia trip. And there's a lot that's been going on. So there's a lot to go over. I had to skip my show on Friday, so I haven't done a show since last Wednesday. We're talking like, in the last couple of days, a lot of stuff went down, a lot of amazing stuff. So I've only got 2 hours to do this broadcast, so we're going to go ahead and just dive right into it. Okay. I'm going to read a post that I did on X.com this morning. I sat down and my brain was already going, trying to think about what I was going to cover in this broadcast this morning. And so I sat down and did a long form post on X.com. I hope you all follow me on X.com, by the way, at John Strike. Because that's where I spend about 90% of my posting time. That's where I think the real battlefield is, actually, for a lot of the things that are going on in this current fight to save our country, save our world. And I think X.com is the key place where a lot of this is being hashed out right now. Let me go all the way down. Yeah, it's a long post we're about to read here. But I felt inspired to do that this morning. Go ahead and write that out. Let me drop it in the Rumble link so you can find it. If you're on X.com, this is my pinned tweet on my account right now. You should be able to find it pretty easily. I'll drop that into the chat. Well, a lot of people are really angry and upset over the slow pace that they see things moving at over the last 10 months. It was assumed that the moment Donald Trump, after he was done not putting his hand on the Bible while taking the oath of office on January 20th, it was assumed everything was going to kick off like immediately and all the arrests were going to happen. And we were going to see massive shifts and changes right from the start. Well, we have seen there were massive shifts and changes right from the start, just not how a lot of people expected. And that's one of the biggest things one of the biggest problems that we have in the Trump base is people creating all kinds of unrealistic expectations about how fast things need to be done. And though Trump's not doing it my way, he's not doing it how I expected it to be done. So nothing's happening. And these people get frustrated and they vent. As I'll discuss in this post, there's no, on a certain level, there's nothing wrong with saying, I don't understand why Trump is doing this or doing this instead of that. I don't understand why this hasn't happened yet. Okay. I'm not saying you can't publicly express any of that, but I'm going to point out that a lot of what you see going on social media is not as organic as you think it is. A lot of people out there trying to drive the doubt, the paralysis of the Trump base, trying to fracture it, trying to split it, trying to get it to doubt Trump, doubt Trump's integrity, doubt his honesty, doubt his character, doubt his strategic planning, doubt his ability to follow through on his promises. There are a lot of people out there that are considered MAGA. They're considered on the Trump train, okay? Members in good standing, they show up at all the events, they write books, they do podcasts, and they're considered silent MAGA people, but they're out there every day, oh my God, Trump is so clueless, he's such an idiot. Why hasn't he done this yet? And they're constantly in a never-ending stream promoting these narratives. So I wanted to start this morning by reading a new post on X. So let me add this here, and we'll read it. Okay, hold on. That's the wrong window. Give me a second to actually get my shit together. I still have the post up on the Brave browser. I need to switch that to the Chrome browser, and it turns out I've been using Brave for too much. Brave is actually a shitty browser. I don't understand. I didn't understand until like about 10 months ago that a lot of my problems during streaming actually stems from using Brave too much. I should probably be using Chrome all this time. So anyway, there's the post I did this morning. It's a long one. This is going to take a while to read through. But listen, a lot of what the Q community and the digital soldiers and the Anons and the Trump base have been through over the last 10 months. This needed to be said. We needed to go over this because people need to understand that we've won. The early crucial months where the vile people out there that I'm going to be talking to you about, they had a legitimate shot at preventing Trump from doing what needed to be done. They had a legitimate shot at tanking enough of his populace to point that they might be able to get him to pause and roll back some of the stuff that he's clearly planning to do. Let's go into it and talk about how they failed. Okay. So I organize these into different thoughts. You see, I'll start with point number one. First part of this post says this: what if the 2026 midterms have already been secured and are well in hand? Because about 40 million fake Social Security numbers that were being utilized in state county level election fraud schemes were already categorized, flagged, removed from the SSA, Social Security Administration database, and currently the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice under the direction of Hartmut Dillon and Eagle Ed Martin are involved in checking the voter rolls in various states for those flagged Social Security numbers that were being used to register voters. You may have noticed that there was some attention recently on the fact that Harmeet Dillon and the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice under Pam Bondi have been going to various states and asking to see, well, I don't want to use the word asking too polite a word to use there. They've been officially requesting to see the voter rolls in these states so that they might check them against something. Okay, they want to study the voter rolls in these states, and you may have noticed that just as with the SNAP benefits that were in the news the other day, a lot of these states are refusing to comply. They do not want to share the state level information with the feds now that the feds are, I guess when Biden was in there, this was fine, but now that's Trump, see, that's the Trump administration. They don't want to share any information with the Fed about SNAP, how many illegals are getting SNAP benefits, and they certainly don't want to share the freaking voter roll with the Civil Rights Division while Harmeet Dillon is running it. So several of these states actually sued the Department of Justice for even daring to ask to have a look at their precious voter roll. Yeah, this is going on right now. I've been involved in the election integrity movement since November of 2020. Well, a lot of people got involved at that point. I kind of suspected there are elections in many places were rigged, but let me tell you, it's been an eye-opening education for me over the last 5 years, discovering just how fake and gay and rigged American elections actually are. Okay, so a lot of these elections are rigged; they're being faked, and I'm one of the people that I pay attention in the election integrity space. I've watched all of the developments over the last 5 years, and it continues to develop. So recently, the news focused on the fact that Harmeet Dillon is encountering some real resistance from these blue states that they really do not want Harmeet or Eagle Ed Martin or any of these people involved in the Department of Justice having a look at their voter rolls because I think they're pretty sure that Harmeet and Ed and these other people involved in this have a list of social security numbers they've been given by somebody. Okay, I know we're all supposed to pretend the Elon Trump feud is real. Trump is keeping the Doge team at arm's length and all this shit. Okay, but look, I believe Elon Musk and the Doge team performed a very valuable service in those early months, those crucial key early months when they got into places like, I don't know, the USAID offices, the Treasury Department payment system, and the Social Security Administration. They got in there and they began doing all kinds of important stuff, most of which you never saw or heard about. You only get like a very surface level type. Maybe you see 20% of what they were actually doing during that time, and you're able to see that there's a lot of stuff that went on back then you did not see, you did not hear about it. All right, I put it that way. A lot of what they were doing, I was explaining this back in April. By the time April, May, and into June, especially when the Social Security numbers stuff started coming out, that if you've been in the election integrity space since 2020, like me, and Seth Kishel and Tracy Baines and a lot of other people out there, and you know what our key role online remote voter registration plays in the fraud that's been going on in American elections for a long time now, you're very well aware of the key role that Social Security numbers play in driving these election fraud schemes. So the clearest example of it was, of course, this is what I believe Harmeet Dillon and Tulsi Gabbard are getting ready to roll out an official report that'll be coming from the DNI, Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard to Donald Trump soon about the machines and all the fucking shit that went on in that 2020 election. It's coming, excuse me. One of the things that's going to come out is something that people like me and stuff to have known about for years. Just how much fraud goes on in the voter rolls when it comes to registering fake voters who don't actually exist. And then a lot of this keys off of social security numbers. Social security numbers play a massive role in this. So early on, when Elon and the Doge team, Big Balls, and all those kids got in there, and they said, wow, look how many 120-year-old Social Security numbers we found for 120-year-old people, even older than that, Wow, look how many we're finding. And I'm over there laughing my ass off because I knew exactly where this was headed. Those are the ones that I said this at the time. You can go back and look. The ones where they had to create so many fake, over 40 million, They had to create so many fake Social Security numbers. They literally had to create them for people of all kinds of exotic ages. There are people that are like 200 years old. There were a couple of people that were 150 years old. But they were finding millions of people that are over 120, okay? That's how many they ended up having to just, all these NGOs out there that were being paid to have people do nothing but sit behind a desk in a cubicle all freaking day and invent fake Social Security numbers and then fill out voter registration forms all damn day long for the fake Social Security numbers. Okay. I'm over there watching what Elon Musk is exposing. I'm laughing my ass off the whole time. The whole time I'm watching that. And I'm trying to convey to everybody, you understand this is tied to election fraud. I mean, everybody's focused on, I sure hope these people weren't getting Social Security payments every month. Okay. I'm over there saying, oh, listen, they already know a 120-year-old person isn't getting any money out of the Social Security Administration. This is about vote fraud. That's exactly what this is about. Yeah, probably, they're doing that to facilitate fraud. It's done payment to some people, I'm sure, illegal immigrants and people like that. But when it comes to the millions and millions of fake Social Security numbers they were creating, some of them for people with very exotic ages, I was telling people from the start, this is about election fraud. That's what this is about. Now, we've now reached the point they can begin publicly coming out with this. Harmeet Dillon is letting it be known very publicly. I just asked this state to see its voter rolls, and they sued me to prevent me from having a look at their voter rolls. I'm going to tell you what's going on here, okay? These blue state Secretary of States and then the Secretary of State in these states like California and so on. These are the people that are the top election officers, okay? You have the governor, and you have the attorney general, the state attorney general, and then you have the Secretary of State for that state. That's the person that runs the elections. That's the person that's in charge of the voter roll. And so now Harmeet Dillon's been going around to these people for the last couple of months saying, hey, I'd like to see your voter rolls. I want to check your voter roll against something. And I'm over there saying, yeah, I wonder what she wants to check the California voter roll against. When she's already been given a list of millions and millions of fake Social Security numbers. She was given this list by Elon Musk and the Doge team, by the way, in case you need me to spell that out for you. They've got a list of all these fake Social Security numbers that were created, starting back in the Bush years, very likely, continued on through the Obama years, and even into the first Trump term, because remember, as I'm having to repeatedly remind people, Trump was a figurehead president in that first term. He understood he did not have any real functional control of the federal government beyond a few basic things. He understood that in that first term. He knew if he went beyond what it was safe to do, they'd take him out instantly. So that first term was more like a scouting expedition, so to speak. He was studying their vulnerabilities and forming a plan for the second term. So even during the first Trump term, they're still adding millions of these fake ass social security numbers, and they're using it to drive elections fraud. In case you're wondering where most of those 15 million bogus mail-in votes came from, assuming they didn't do fucking numbers in the digital space when the election votes were counted. Pretty sure there were a couple million fake mail-in votes where the people were registered with fake social security numbers. The NGOs then paid their employees to sit down and use those fake voter registrations to request ballots in certain key states, certain key counties, and the battleground states. And then they dutifully received all those ballots in the mail, or they voted remotely, and they filled them out and they sent them back in. That's how they did it. I know a lot of people say, well, they stole it from China. They used all this electronic traffic, and they just played with the numbers. The reporting numbers when the numbers were supposed to be sent to the Secretary of State's office, and they tell you all this digital gobbledygook. Okay, they stole 2020 the old-fashioned way. They set it up with massive ballot dumping before Election Day, using fake Social Security numbers to register fake voters, then request ballots be mailed to those fake voters, have their NGO staff fill the damn ballots out, and they sent them in. Okay, that's how they did it. That still didn't work. Trump was going to win anyway. That's before the election. After Election Day, they had to stop the counting and do a massive amount of ballot dumping after Election Day. For 3 straight days, they had to dump a lot of ballots, pre-printed, filled out ballots. But what put them in a position to get them close enough to steal it was a massive 15 million injected votes done via election fraud. And you need to listen to me carefully on this. Fake ass Social Security numbers played a massive role in that 15 million magical votes that appeared for Joe Biden in 2020. And then subsequently disappeared in 2024. Fake ass Social Security numbers, very important, very key. Yeah. Oh, but China doing, fucking stuff with the machines and the digital reporting, and some people will try to sell you that narrative. Anyway, let's go on. So, I believe Harmeet Dillon and Eagle Ed Martin and these other people, they have a list. Elon Musk and the Doge team did an excellent job when they went through the Social Security Administration, and they uprooted and removed and flagged all of these bogus Social Security numbers. And these Secretary of States out there in places like Massachusetts and Rhode Island and California and Illinois, they know exactly what Harmeet wants to do if they hand her the voter rolls over. And they got to hand over the information. How exactly was this voter registered? And the first thing they're going to look at is the freaking Social Security number that was used to create that voter registration. So that's one of the things that's going on in the election integrity space right now. I'm on it like a hawk. Okay. So what if in the remaining year to the 2026 midterms, November 3rd, okay, November 3rd, Tuesday, tomorrow, they have elections in some certain places like New Jersey and New York City. Are you aware of that? Oh, I'm sure you're aware of it. They're flooding the airwaves where they're getting you all concerned about those races. We're a year away, almost exactly 1 year away from the 2026 midterms. So, what if in the remaining year to those 2026 midterms, as more avenues of election fraud and election fraud funding are cut off? You already know this is happening if you've been paying attention to what Harmeet, Ken Paxton, Ed Martin, and so on have been doing with ActBlue and other organizations. What if in the remaining year, as more of their election fraud methods get exposed and taken away from them, and more sources of their election fraud funding get exposed and taken away from them, okay? What if the Democrat wing of the Uniparty, while that's going on now, they're losing the funding, they're losing the methods. What if the Democrat wing of the Uniparty continues to be forced into the position of loudly screaming over and over and over again into any nearby camera that they can find, so the American public can hear them very clearly and loudly? They're forced to scream this for the next year. We opened the borders and we let this last 20 million in here. And by God, we're going to keep as many of them here as we can. And you are going to foot the bill for this. So shut the fuck up about paying for all of this and just hand over the fucking money. One year of this now, November 2025 to November 2026, 1 year of their continuing to scream this into any camera they can find. Well, that's the bold strategy, Cat, and let's see if it works out for him. Does anybody think that's a winning platform for the D wing of the Uniparty for the next year? Well, I'm sure you'll find somebody out there. Hey, that's brilliant. You can find assholes that think Elvis is alive on the planet Mars. Yeah, sure. I'm sure you can find somebody say, what a brilliant idea that the Democrats will be doing this for the next year. Any camera they can find. They're here. We're keeping them here. We're keeping all of them. Stop trying to depoint them. We're keeping every last damn one of them. And you're going to keep paying for their SNAP benefits. You're going to keep paying for all of it. Go hand over the money. You will have some people trying to tell you, wow, that's a brilliant strategy. I'm so amazed the Democrats are doing this. Well, I'm going to show you that's not a. You always have lunatics out there to say shit like that. I happen to think that's not a winning strategy for the Democratic Party, but they can't help it. They're pinned down. Let me explain why. I think it's absolutely fabulous that the D wing of the Uniparty is currently pinned down in yet another indefensible position. There's so many, There's so many indefensible positions where they're having to divide their forces. All right, 20 of you guys get over there and protect the LGBTQ trans kid gender affirming care narrative. 20 of you get over there and do that. 20 of you get over there and defend the war machine, the forever war machine. Yeah, keep the wars going, keep the funding going to Ukraine, shit like that. 20 of you get over there and defend the continuing to send all this foreign aid and all this war machinery money to places like Ukraine. Okay, and 20 of you get over here and defend keeping every damn one of these illegals in the country and keep the American taxpayers paying for all of this. They're forced to divide their forces. I hope you can see that. They're forced to divide what remaining resources they have left, the remaining resources and personnel. 20 of you over there, 20 over here, 30 of you over here. And I love watching this because every single one of their different groups is now pinned down trying to defend the indefensible. It's beautiful, man. Okay. So I think, yes, it is absolutely fabulous that the Wing and Unity Party is currently pinned down in yet another indefensible position. Loudly screaming into the radios for the fake news at the rear for covering artillery fire that the fake news just can no longer give them. Oh my God, Trump's got us pinned down. We need Artie. We need Artie right here to our front so we can advance. And CNN and New York Times and Washington Post and NBC and Fox News. Sorry, man, no can do. We can't give you enough covering fire to advance or retreat. Hell, we can't give you enough covering of fire so you can move in any direction. Sorry. Oh God, I can't tell you how much I'm loving watching this. They're on their phones every damn day. Oh my God, you got to do something. Trump's absolutely got us pinned down. We need some movement here. We got to move forward. And the fake news on the left, on the right. Sorry, man. We can't do it. We don't have enough left. We ran out of shells. We're running out of shells. Half the shells we launched are duds. they land and nothing happens. We're sorry. Now this is beautiful, man. They're hunkered down in their bunkers, screaming for covering fire. On the immigration thing, keeping as many immigrants here that they can, and keeping the U.S. taxpayers footing the bill for all of this. They're trapped in their bunker. They can't advance. They can't seize any more ground defending that position. You understand? They've tried so much to try to seize new ground, advocating and defending this. Is it working? No, it's not working. They can't advance, but they also can't retreat. If they just give up and say, fine, all right, well, I guess we're not going to stop Trump. Trump is just really freaking committed to this. And we don't have any resources left. We're going to have to just give up this fight and move on. No, they can't do that. I mean, if you understand how the Democratic Party has been faking it for decades, that they are still a national party when they're not. You understand how they've been using the freaking exotic gerrymandering that they've done in some of these states where they carve out these tiny districts to pump up their House seat numbers. You understand how they've been abusing the Voting Rights Act. If you understand how they abused the census, the 2020 census, why they fought tooth and claw to keep that citizenship question off the census form. You understood everything they've been doing to fake being a national party still, then you understand why these people are in a desperate position here on the immigration thing. They can't have even 2 or 3 million of these illegals shipped out of here. They managed to maintain the illusion in Washington, D.C. of a national balance. The Republicans are here and the Democrats are like right here below them. There's only like a 5-vote difference in the House, you know. It's very close. Oh, bullshit. Oh, bullshit. It's close. They've been faking it. They've been rigging the system. They've been creating an illusion they're not a national party anymore, and they haven't been for some time. So the immigration thing is an existential fight for them. They cannot retreat on it. They can't. They've got to keep every damn illegal in here that they possibly can. If they lose even a couple million, over 1.5 million have already left. I think self-deported. Plus about the 750,000 that the Trump administration deported already. They're losing them, and there's probably, and people argue how many there are here in the United States. There might be 50 million. Who knows? I know it's a lot. I know they let 20 million in just from 2021 all the way till Trump took over again. They let over 20 million in here. But they're in an existential fight. They must keep two things from happening. They have to stop the end of the gerrymandering bullshit they've been doing with the VRA Voter Rights Act, which I think it looks like that's exactly what Clarence Thomas and SCOTUS is getting ready to do sometime in the next couple of months. They're going to end all the stupid gerrymandering that's been going on. And when that happens, just that's going to cost Democrats about 15 to 20 House seats. Now, on top of that, if that happens, they stand to lose another 15 to 18 seats if there's another census, or there's a do-over of the 2020 census, and you don't count the illegals this time. Oh man, they stand to lose another 15 to 18 seats if that happens. This is actually a country where the GOP, as bad as it is and as corrupted as it is, should have about a 50-seat lead. If we had an honest electoral system, and we don't, okay, then the GOP should have about a 50-seat lead in the House. And the reason they don't is because of massive fraud, because of an illusion, the gerrymandering, and counting the illegals. And that's one of the biggest reasons they let 20 million in here and lied about it for 3 years under Biden. Border crisis? What border crisis? What is this border crisis of which you speak? I have no idea what you're even talking about. Border crisis? Come on, man. Until that last year when I found, fine, border crisis, but it's Trump's fault. Yeah, okay, we know they're bullshitting everybody. They're gaslighting everybody up the wazoo. But you need to understand, this is an existential fight for them. They can't advance on it, but neither can they retreat. You understand why they can't retreat? They can't retreat because if they lose this fight, it's over. It's over for them if they lose it. They will be exposed as never having been a national party for the past couple of decades. They faked their way into getting people to believe they are a national. It's very close, and it's not. It's not very close. So Trump has them pinned down. They can't advance. They can't retreat, and Trump isn't about to let them move. He's not about to allow them to move. So here's what's going to happen over the next year from November 2025 to November 2026. Trump is going to keep them pinned down on this right where they are for the next year. Yeah. You can see that, right? They want to advance, but they can't advance. They could retreat, but they know it's over for them if they retreat. Trump is a master at keeping the pressure on, keeping that national spotlight. When they want to bury something and they want people to not pay attention to it, they try various gambits. One of the biggest things I've enjoyed about watching what Trump has been doing for the last 11 months, is watching them launch these gambits to try to pull the national eyeballs, pull that national spotlight off of something that's causing them damage. I watch how Trump seizes control of the news cycle again and puts the national spotlight right back on that damn thing. And I watch them all scream in frustration that they can't get the spotlight off of these issues. Right now, the crime issue, they keep trying. I mean, Trump had to do a foreign trip. He's got other things to do. But you watch, in the next week or two, he's going to get back to the Make American Cities Safe Again national tour. That's going to come bubbling back to the surface. They're desperate to get the public's attention off of that. And he's going to go right back to it. He's going to keep them pinned down on the immigration thing for the next year, as a couple million more illegals are made to leave. Either they leave on their own when their benefits are cut off, or they're going to be deported. And they can't advance. The enemy cannot advance. They cannot retreat. I'm really looking forward to watching this. Okay, now, the second point that I wanted to make in this post. Now, certain doom mongers and black pillars will insist to you that Trump is fading away. He's losing. His powers are waning. His inner circle is an absolute chaos. But those Democrats, man, this is what certain accounts, social media, and they do podcasts and they show up on Fox News. They're going to spend the next year artfully explaining to you how awesomely smart the strategy is that the Democrats are pursuing. Saying and they all have to stay and they all have to be paid for bunker for the next year. They're hunkered down in that bunker. Oh, that's so smart. Oh, it's so smart of them to be unified like that. Yeah, you'll see people like Andy McCarthy and Fox News and other people like Karl Rove come out saying, yeah, well, they're unified. Look at the power they gain from that unity. Yeah, you're going to hear people saying this to you. Right now. They'll be talking about, while the Democrats are all unified and they're all on message and they're all being very consistent, Trump is supposedly pissing away every advantage that he holds. Oh, it's so sad watching Trump make this misstep. That's their job, by the way. Did you know that? Their job is to show you Democrats, very powerful, be scared. Oh, they're very clever. Oh, they're very smart. They're totally in control. We're not making any headway against them. Meanwhile, Trump, what a clueless dumbass. He can't do anything right. He can't put a foot right. His own staff is hiding shit from him, okay? And they're going, yes, they will spend the next year selling these narratives to you. Now, you should be able to spot the business model these people are utilizing at this point. I mean, definitely over the last 10 months, a lot of these people that have been doing this have made it very clear what business model they're using on the Trump base. And I'm pretty sure a lot of the Trump base that wasn't awake before the last 10 months showed them a lot of things about who they can trust and who's actually been trying to take advantage of them. So, fear and doom-centered reporting, posting, podcasting will always attract the interest of people who can't quite believe what they're seeing currently. Can't believe we have it so good. And so they will lend their ears to those with an alternative take on what Trump is doing, how this is actually a disaster. This is actually very bad. Oh my God, they indicted James Comey. Here's why that was a really fucking dumb thing for Trump to do. Yes, you will have people in the conservative neocon land space saying that, but you also have people in a new space that I'm going to be discussing in a minute. They'll also be telling you this. Oh my God, another indictment. Trump's over. When John Brennan gets indicted sometime in the near future. Oh my God, Trump's overplaying his hand again. Tell him Bondi what to do. You get to watch all the usual suspects like Andy McCarthy. The people come out here and share all this stuff with you. Now, on one level, okay, I make this caveat. Now, on one level, if this is being done honestly, I think Trump made a mistake here. I think this is a really bad idea. on one level, if you're doing this honestly, there's nothing wrong with providing an alternative take to the popular MAGA America First narrative about what Trump is doing. Oh, this is great. This is good. This is fantastic. I approve of Trump doing this. But then you have a few voices out there saying, well, I don't think this is such a great idea, actually. I'm not saying every voice that says, I don't think this is a good idea, actually, has a nefarious agenda. Some of them are just telling you what they think, and they really don't see how this is a good idea. And there's nothing wrong with that. But there is a level of this kind of alternative reporting where it crosses the line. It crosses the line into being an actual business model where the people using this don't really care all that much if the black pilling doom mongering take that they're spreading is accurate, fair, or factual or not. They don't really, to say it bluntly, they don't have to care if the narrative is true or not. They've seen the results this kind of reporting gets, and they like it. They've seen the numbers. They've seen the amount of clicks and views and money they generate going with the, oh my God, here's the latest fucking stupid move Trump just made, rather than the more factual, balanced, well, okay, kind of hard to see where Trump is going with this, but here's the basic facts. I've had to do that a couple times. I don't understand where he's going, but this is what Trump is doing. Here's just the basic facts. I'm not saying anything one way or the other. There's other people that have discovered that whenever Trump does something that a lot of people in the base don't understand why this is happening, you can really generate a lot of revenue for yourself if you cover it in a fashion where you are giving them the idea, oh my God, Trump's been tricked by his own staff again. He's now doing this and somebody needs to stop it. Okay. They've seen what kind of numbers that type of reporting generates. Happy rainbows and cotton candy fluffing of Trump and his crew. Yes, that's one side of the spectrum. I'm aware of people that do that. There's media organizations and celebrities out there. They'll never have one bad thing to say about Trump or any of the methods and strategies he's pursuing. They'll always be 100%, 100 on board, cheerleading whatever it is Trump decides to do. Yes, they're out there. But most of those type of people, they're just going to rah-rah cheerlead Trump all the time, no matter what. They're harmless to the MAGA and America First agenda that we're attempting to get done during this Great Awakening. The endless Trump cheerleading. There's no danger in that. It's the people at the opposite end of that spectrum. The ones where Trump can never seem to put a foot right. He's always clueless. He's always lost, manipulated, bamboozled by his own staff. That's a very popular narrative, by the way. Bannon's out there saying that almost every day. His own staff is controlling him. Those people are doing real damage to our Great Awakening agenda. I have not been shy talking about it. You've been following me for any length of time. The people out there, they'll spend maybe half their broadcast talking about everything Trump just did that they love. Oh, I love that he did this. Oh, I love that he did that. Then the other half of the broadcast, they completely shift the ground. They start saying, but here's that thing Trump did where Susie Wiles totally fucked him. Here's that thing Trump did where Sergio Gore or whoever totally hid shit from him and convinced him to do the wrong thing. And they'll sit there and they'll spin these scenarios about clueless Trump, who doesn't really understand what's going on. He had things hidden from him. Donald Trump, the social media president, who's online more than any other president before him. And you had Dan Scavino and other people close to him monitoring social media for him and watching it for him. Okay. the guy who's more wired into what's going on than anybody else before him. These people are out there literally selling the narrative. Oh my God, he's fucking clueless. Oh my God, he doesn't understand the thing that's going on. Or he would have done this the way that I want it done by now. Or he wouldn't have done that. And are spinning all these various scenarios to you. Trump, the clueless dumbass scenario, I guess. Like, he's not wired in. He doesn't have special groups of people out there that are handling things that are on his team. And Scavino and others are directly involved in all of this. They're trying to pretend to you. There's no plan. There's no, shit. We all know Q is fake. We all know digital soldiers are useless. You know, and Trump just got this far based on sheer dumb luck. Thank God Trump is the luckiest son of a bitch to ever live on God's green earth. He should be listening to me. I should be his key advisor. I'd set that dude straight. And I listen to these podcasters, and I have to really work hard at not laughing out loud. You know. Trump knows more than you do. Trump is more wired in than you are. Stop falling for dumb shit, half of which are being peddled. The people peddling this stuff, the clueless, dumbass Trump, no plan scenarios. You know, with Dan Scavino, all those people sitting there saying, you know, they're totally out of it. They're totally clueless what's really happening in this country. Half the people doing that are just doing it because that's where the money is. Okay, that's where the money is. You can generate a lot of money for yourself selling clueless Trump narrative. You can, because you're playing to people's fears and you're stuck in people's fears and the confirmation biases, and that will always be lucrative. It will always be very lucrative to do that. And that's why you have so many people out there that are doing that. So those people at the opposite end of the spectrum, if you listen to them, all you're hearing will probably 50% of their posting, of their broadcasting, or whatever, about 50% of it is there's no plan. Trump is just lucky he got to this point. His staff is evil. His staff is messing him up. And I should be a key Trump advisor. I set that dude straight. I have things moving along much more quickly than they have been. He should be listening to me. And those people are doing real damage to our great awakening agenda. They are causing a lot of doubt. They are sowing a lot of chaos. And that's why I've been addressing it for the last 10 months, even though, as we're going to see, you know, it's not popular to have to be that guy. So, point number 3. The reason I had to start loudly calling out the far end of the spectrum that was doing the constant blackpilling and doom-mongering thing 10 months ago, this is back in February and March now. The reason I had to do that is because the only part of this very first year of the second Trump term was the most crucial time for preparing what will be unfolding for the next 3 years. There was a lot of ground that had to be laid. Most of this done underneath the surface where you can't see it. Now, you did see a lot of stuff on the surface, don't get me wrong. There was so much of it, they couldn't have hidden a lot of it. That was done out in public where you could see it. But about 80% of the massive changes going on in Washington, D.C. and around the world, you cannot see it. Now, it's a good thing you can't see it because the enemy is watching. There's a reason you don't advertise everything where your enemy can see it. Really good reason you don't advertise things where your enemy can see it. You need to let the ghosts do their work. So the last 10 months have been critically vital to establishing the foundation of what will be unfolding for the next 3 years. I guarantee you, Trump's enemies understood this, and he did every fucking thing in their power to try to keep Trump from being able to do things that he's been doing, and his team from doing the things they've been doing over the last month. So all of Trump's enemies understood this, that this first year was crucial. If Trump managed to maintain a certain level of popular nationalist support, he would be able to do certain things early. His enemies understood this. So all of his enemies understood that. Even if certain hand-waving bullshit rhetorical magicians, supposedly on our side, with huge followings, pretended not to know that or care about it. Some people who are considered MAGA, are really from neocon land, took money to try to fracture, divide, weaken, and sabotage the Trump base over the past year, especially the new guys, the ones who just came on board the Trump term the last year and a half or so. The RFK people, a lot of the former Democrats, the RFK Jr. brought in here. Okay, they're really trying to shave off and cut the Trump base in half. They were desperate to get this done over the last 10 months. Very serious, clever, rich people, and I mean serious as a heart attack now, with vested interest in stopping Trump from doing what they know he intends to do in a second public term. They huddled up and war gamed out various strategies for turning just enough of the Trump base against him so he would not be able to move forward on many of his second term initiatives that these serious as a heart attack rich people are desperate to head off and prevent. And this huddling up took place in very early 2020, really late 2023, very early 2024. They all huddled up and they hatched strategies, okay? And I'm going to tell you, they knew Biden and Harris were not going to stop Trump. They knew Trump was coming back. They're like, and I come up with a strategy where he doesn't have enough public support to move forward on the key initiatives of a second term. We got to sandbag the guy and make sure his own base is so divided and so internally full of chaos, he can't move forward on these things that he wants to move forward in. So these foul people I'm writing to you about could see early last year there was no way Biden or Harris were going to beat Trump. And unlike 2020, these vile people who fund both the D wing of the Uniparty and the R wing of the Uniparty knew down to the marrow of their bones they were not going to be able to magically dump an extra 15 million votes in the counts in 2024. They knew that. They knew they could not do a repeat of 2020. They knew it. They knew it. They knew it. If they wouldn't, it wasn't even technically possible for them to do it again. And even if they could have pulled that off again, the American public would never have accepted the fraud a second time. They got just enough of the country to buy in to the Biden win in 2020. They were able to pull it off. In 2024, they had no illusions about a repeat of that. Can you imagine they're coming out trying to say on election night, wow, it was close, folks, but Kamala Harris has pulled it off. Okay, they knew the country would never accept that. They knew it. Okay, I spent over a year in the build-up to the 2024 election patiently explaining this to people and being attacked for it. They know they can't do another 2020. But again, this is one reason why I'm different and why I'm way out there ahead of everybody else. And I'm saying shit that sounds crazy at the time. Everybody else is being programmed and conditioned to believe they can do whatever they want. They'll just come out and announce Kamala won it, and everybody will accept it. Okay, because you have social media people and podcasters out there that you trust that were filling your heads with that shit. And meanwhile, I'm over there using everything but Signal flag. Oh no. They know they can't inject 15 million fake ballots this time. They know what would happen if they came out, even if they could do that, even if they could successfully inject enough fake ballots to keep it close and then steal it for Kamala. They know the country would not accept it. They know that. But there were so many other people out there that people in the Trump base are listening to that they trust. Oh, they'll just steal it again for Kamala, and they get programmed to believe this. And it's hard for some people to break the programming. It's hard for some people to break the programming. It's very hard. Okay. So I spent over a year literally arguing with people. They can't do another 2020. I'll explain, very patiently explain why they knew they couldn't do it. It's like pulling teeth. Okay, so it was only last year in the spring of 2024, these very vile, rich and clever people now, they huddled up and began forming MAGA media strategy for the next several years. Yeah, I said MAGA media strategy. I didn't say lefty CNN network news media strategy. I said MAGA, America First media strategy. I said that very deliberately. So it was either late 2023 or very early 2024. All these vile, clever, rich people huddled together. Here's the narrative we're going to promote in MAGA media for the next couple of years. See if we can kneecap Donald Trump and prevent him from building enough popular support to move forward on these initiatives and these agenda items that we know he wants to do, that are going to expose us and destroy our old guard and that system we've carefully been building for the last 100 years. Here's how we're going to sandbag and keep them from being able to move forward on these things. And they all kicked around various ideas, and they came up with several MAGA media strategies. The overall goal was to find ways to spread enough chaos, drama, confusion, and anger within the Trump base to shrink it just enough so Trump wouldn't have the confidence to move forward on many of the radically revolutionary and transformative agenda items they knew he planned to do. That's why I've been explaining for some time now. A good general on the battlefield will wait until all his forces are in a row. All the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed before he gives the order. And Trump has to know the public is behind him. He's about to do something really radical now. He's about to do some really transformative shit here, okay? He needs to know he has enough public support before he can give that order. That's exactly what these people were trying to use their MAGA media strategy to prevent. They wanted Trump to feel, I want to move on this. I want to move on the Social Security Administration. I want to move on, the Iranian nuclear facilities and wipe that out. I need to know I have enough public support before I do a lot of this radical shit. Okay, and their media strategy these vile people came up with is we need to rob him of the confidence that he has enough support. We've got to constantly flood the zone with the base is turning on him, the base is questioning him, the base is not supporting him, the base is paralyzed. You can't do this, Donald Trump. The public is not enough of the public is with you. Sorry. on to my fourth point. These very, very rich, clever, and vile people know you don't watch fake news anymore. They knew that years ago. If you're on the Trump base, you're America First, you're MAGA, you don't watch CNN anymore. You don't read the New York Times. You don't read the Wall Street Journal. They know this. Are they going to influence you then? Well, I hope, hold on to that. I see some of you now understand where I'm going with this. Years ago, talking years ago, these vile people, very rich, vile, clever people who fund the D wing of the Uniparty, who fund the R wing of the Uniparty, who fund the liberal progressive fake news, and who fund the conservative neocon fake news. Yes, they fund all four of these things. Don't argue with me about it. Fund all four of them. They created a fifth branch to fund, a new hybrid branch. I call it the Neocon MAGA Fake News Social Media Influencer branch. They fund all five of them. Years ago, certain people crept into our movement from neocon land. And they draped themselves with the MAGA flag, and they pound their chest. I'm more MAGA than MAGA, dude. Don't you dare question me. Now here's how Trump fucked up today. Okay. They created a fifth branch you will listen to. And they make some of these people look very good and very impressive. Well, they can't influence you and get you to turn on Trump and doubt Trump and his team, doubt their character, doubt their integrity, doubt their honesty, doubt their capability, their competence. They know they can't get you to turn on Trump and his team, or at least, at the very least, get you to take a wait and see approach using the progressive liberal fake news. We really want to get that MAGA America First base to doubt Donald Trump's character and his integrity and his intentions. But we know we can't use CNN and the fucking Wall Street Journal and New York Times and Washington Post to do that. So what are we going to do? We're very rich now. We're very clever. We have a lot of money. There's some people out there, they really love money. Okay. I know they can't influence you and get you to turn on Trump using the progressive liberal fake news. So, well, no problem. Good thing their deep pockets also fund the conservative neocon fake news and its new cousin, its new redheaded stepchild, the hybrid conservative neocon SMIs. That's social media influencers for those of you in Rio Linda. Yes, they fund a lot of these people. 10 months ago, I had to be that guy and start calling out the play as these vile people began using that fifth branch of their MAGA media control to run this play. I had to start calling out the play while they were beginning to run it. And that meant talking bad shit about some people that a lot of people in our movement actually still respect and trust and listen to and follow when they're allowed to influence them. And that's not fun. I took a lot of heat for it, but it was very important that I do that. So as they work night and day to launch their release the Epstein evidence narrative to fracture the Trump base over it, I furiously launched the counter narrative. Right alongside of many of those in the Q movement, the digital soldier community, we all got out there and we launched the counter narrative. Okay, Trump comes out and tells you They injected a lot of fake shit in the Epstein evidence, and thank God Cass and Pam and Dan did their due diligence, and they caught it. They caught it before anybody made use of the fake shit that had been added in there. And we're going to see the real Epstein evidence just as soon as Donald Trump and certain people out there are done using it to save the world. But a lot of fake shit was injected into the real evidence. And so, because certain people did their due diligence, they spotted it and they pulled it out. Meanwhile, the vile people I'm talking to you about were using that fifth branch, the redheaded stepchild, the neocon, MAGA, social media influencers out there relentlessly, every damn day for months. Release it. Release the Epstein evidence. Drop it. Just drop it already. Give it to us. Trying to build social media pressure to force the Trump administration into a fatal mistake. And now, 10 months later, the only gambit the vile people launched to prevent Trump from gaining and keeping enough popular support to move forward on his truly radical, revolutionary, and utterly transformative agenda for the United States has failed. They just took their best shot over the last 10 months and it missed. Trump and his team's crucial, early, important work, about 80% now of which was done out of sight and away from media cameras that you presently don't know about, has been successful. He's managed to pry enough control off of the federal government that he has enough now. He's able to move on the local affiliates in the states, in key U.S. cities now. He's got enough control in Washington, D.C. He can start doing shit in places like Illinois, Chicago, Portland, Memphis, L.A. Start doing things out there in their affiliates. Now that he has enough actual control in Washington, D.C., he did not have in his first term. He's got enough functional control of the DOJ, the FBI, CIA, State Department, and so on. At this point, he can do stuff now he could never even think about doing during that first time. One of those things, and this is where I'm going to go in the next couple of minutes, one of those things he can do now, he couldn't even think about doing in that first time, is indict James Comey and start the indictments of the Russiagate hoaxes. Yeah, he can do that now. What are you telling me? He couldn't have done that in the first term? I'm programmed to believe Trump could have indicted James Comey at any time. He could have indicted him in 2017. Well, he could have had his attorney general indict him in 2017, 2018, 2019. Till he waved his damn hand and climbed in the helicopter on January 2021. He could have indicted James Comey. Well, let me make a distinction here. Trump could not have had Comey indicted until like the last month or so and have it go anywhere, really. Would you agree to that statement? Sure. Technically, I will assent to the proposition. Trump could have turned to Jeff Sessions in February or March or whenever Sessions was sworn in, because said, "Hey, Jeff, I want you to indict James Comey right now." Technically, I was saying, yes, Trump could have done that. He could have had James Comey indicted in 2017. Yeah, he had the authority to do that. Well, he had the authority to say, "I would really like to see this," and Jeff Sessions could have done it. 2018, 2019, and 2020, William Barr could have done it. And for the starting in when she was sworn in March, I think it was, starting in March, Pam Bondi could have instantly indicted James Comey. Okay. I will admit for the record, yes, that could have happened. But there's a difference between doing something when you have the authority, but you don't have all the pieces and personnel and resources in place to actually stick the guy's ass in a prison cell. There's a difference between doing it effectively and doing it when you know it will fail. And as I've said many times, Trump is not interested in going down to noble defeat. He has no interest whatsoever in mounting his white charger early before the time and drawing his saber and looking and making quite a dramatic pose and then charging into the enemy guns and going down in a bloody mess. That's not what he wants to do. Trump wants to win. He wants to fucking destroy these people. Utterly, completely, totally. He will not move before the time. I don't care how many fucking social media influencers you out here are telling me. He could have done this years ago. He could have indicted James Comey in his first time. He's a pussy. He's got no balls. He would have done it by now. You were, yeah, I know, it's Robert De Niro on The Untouchables. You were a man. You would have done it by now. I see fucking dumb people out there every day. Stop giving, don't give James Comey, excuse me, that's the way to say this. Okay. Don't give Donald Trump and Pam Bondi any credit for this indictment of James Comey. Trump could have done that shit in the first time. He had no balls. Why you celebrating a president that's got no balls, finally doing something he should have done years ago? Talk about being clueless. Sure, if you wanted to try James Comey in a DC courtroom and watch him work, absolutely you could fucking indict him in 2018. Which is what a lot of people were screaming to happen. I know, because I was there, Charlie. I watched all of this unfold. I was intimately involved in some of it. Okay. Loudly, endlessly, relentlessly screaming, indict the son of a bitch and put him on trial already back in 2018, 2019, 2020. You got to have enough functional control before you give the order. You ain't got the functional control. You're wasting your time and everybody else's time if you give the order. Because it's not going anywhere. And there's still people out there, their brains are so, the programming goes so deep, they can't challenge this programming that's been stuck in their heads like a loop for years. People believe contradictory shit all the time. I'm just going to do a big segue here. I'm going to finish reading this in a minute. Let's just do a brief segue. It's something I'm going to cover later. I see people saying two things. They believe two contradictory things in their heads at the same time. One, our elections are fake and gay and rigged. Our elections aren't real. All these people running our big blue cities have been handpicked to run for those offices. The system is completely corrupt. The primaries are rigged. The general elections are rigged. They don't even have to rig the general elections. The primaries are so rigged, only their handpicked people get to run anyway. So our elections are fake and gay and rigged. Now people say they believe that. Then on the other hand, they watch all the polls say this literal communist Islamofascist asshole. The polls all say he's about to win the race. And so, on the one hand, our elections are fake and gay, all the polls are rigged, it's all fake. On the other hand, wow, New Yorkers want a commie socialist, Islamic asshole for mayor. Well, if they vote for this guy, that's what they deserve, and they deserve to get it good and hard. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? You just told me you believe the elections are fake and gay and rigged. And on the other hand, oh wow, look, New Yorkers want a commie mayor, an Islamic commie mayor. Okay, pick one. People hold contradictory ideas in their heads all the time. They never critically examine it. So anyway, on the one hand, people seem to understand Trump did not have any real functional control, probably about 80% of the federal government in that first term. Intellectually, they understand it. Emotionally, I don't think they do. They say, yeah, they were fighting him. I mean, it's amazing Trump got as much done in that first term as he did, given that he was basically a figurehead president, just like every other president we had until this year. Okay, he was a figurehead president. He only had maybe 20% control. It's amazing he got as much done as he did. So on the one hand, people tell me they understand that. But on the other hand, it's like James Comey should have been indicted years ago. James Comey his ass should already be in prison years ago. Pick one. You have to have enough functional control so that if you do that thing that everybody wants you to do, it will succeed. And this shit, like indicting James Comey, if you think that was going to succeed in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, if you think James Comey's ass could literally be put in a prison cell in that first Trump administration, you got more problems than I can help you with. And you need to go, I mean, you are really lost in the veil of illusion, my son. If you think there was even the remotest chance, if Comey was indicted in that first Trump term, he would have ever been convicted of jack shit. But you need people say, well, you need to do it anyway, just because you can, and let them walk. But at least you prove that you showed the evidence. Oh, bullshit! Like I said, Trump is not interested in a Pyrrhic or Pyrrhic victory. He wants to win. He's gonna indict your ass. He's not gonna do it till he knows he's got enough control to actually put your ass in an orange jumpsuit in a prison cell. He ain't interested in defeat. Losing does not interest him. So he's got enough functional control now. Probably has enough control for about 60% of the federal government. He can turn to Pam Bondi and say, go. He can turn to Kash Patel and say, go. He can turn to John Ratcliffe, say, go. He can turn to Marco Rubio. He can turn to Pete Hegseth, go. It takes a while to get enough functional control. And this is what people who, it's like, well, at the moment he didn't place his hand on the Bible and took the oath of office on January 2025, he should have had all these indictments ready to go. He should have just done it all that day. He got things were not ready yet. There were resources, the people that had to get into the cabinet positions, first of all. That's why you can't go in February, March, and even June or July. You could not go. Okay, you couldn't even think about going until about early June. And even then, Elon Musk and the Doge team, like I was explaining earlier, there's all kinds of shit going on under the scenes. under the water. You only seen some of it, okay? To prepare things, to get things to the point he's got enough functional control. So if he gives the order now, if they move forward, if they advance, it can succeed. And that's why the day the James Comey indictment was unsealed is historic. It was a historic day. Because that told me, it told everybody who understands how this actually works. God, he's done it. He did it. He's got enough control now. He's got enough will control now. He can move on from doing military parades and putting up flagpoles and renovating the White House, to rub those motherfuckers' faces in it that they don't have control of our government anymore. He's got enough functional control. He can tell Pam Bondi, okay, what you've got, what you've been holding on to, go. Got enough control now. He knows it can work now. He knows it will succeed now. But for the last 10 months, a lot of people were trying to get Trump to give the order early. I have to understand, when it comes to warfare, one of the biggest military tactics that is used in warfare, information warfare on the digital battle space, one of the biggest tactics that's used is when you spot what the enemy is trying to do, and you know how many forces that enemy needs in place to carry that strategy to a successful conclusion. And you see they don't have those forces in place yet. What you do is, hey, pay attention in the back of the room. You attempt to bait them into going early. You attempt to bait them into going early. When it won't work. When they'll be easily defeated. When it won't succeed. So early on, some very rich and very clever, vile people created strategies in an attempt to bait Donald Trump into going early before things were ready, when he did not yet have enough actual, practical, functional control. They tried to bait him into going early, and they fucking failed. Yep. They took their best shot, and it missed. Now comes the pattern. So Trump and his team's crucial, early important, about 80% of what's gone out of sight. Hope we find out about a lot of this someday. Trying away from the media cameras, has been successful. He's managed to pry enough control of the federal government away from them. And he's now able to move on their local affiliates. So he's got enough functional control of DOJ, FBI, CIA. Yes, he can do stuff he couldn't even think about doing in his first term. So, as the past 10 months rolled by, I observed the frantic efforts of those in the hybrid branch, the fifth branch now, of the vile rich people media conglomerate, frantically and desperately stepping up their operation as they realized it wasn't getting the traction they had hoped for. Their Epstein gambit wasn't fracturing the base. The constant seeding of Trump betrayal narratives, the Trump betrayal stories, there wasn't causing enough base drama. Trump just kept moving forward, accomplishing his goals. And now, with the indictments clearly signaling Trump believes that he and Pam and Katz and Dan have enough functional control of the DOJ, FBI, things are really starting to get desperate for these vile people out there. So if they were going to derail the Trump train, before he got enough functional control to move forward, it would have happened over the last 10 months. Didn't happen. They failed. The Trump train is on time, and it is moving forward. Trump has them pinned down, and they can't move much. They can see the fatal strike coming, and there's not a whole lot they can do about it. So, thank you for letting me read all of that to you. Yep, they injected a bunch of fake shit into the Epstein evidence, and then they used their fifth branch of the media, social media influencers, and certain MAGA people that they control. They use that to try to fracture the base and generate enough chaos, okay? And it failed because, hey, here we are. It's November 2025. They didn't stop anything. And he is growing stronger. And my God, what a time to be alive. What a time to be alive, folks. What an awesome to be alive. I've got 30 minutes left. Then I read that post. Some of you may need to go read that over a couple times and understand how certain people tried to play you. Certain people try to get you to turn on Trump. Certain people try to get you to doubt Trump. Certain people try to get you to doubt Trump's agenda. They're always trying to sell you these narratives about Trump. The power life. And if they can't actively and practically get you to turn on Trump, at least they can try to sow doubts and get you paralyzed. Oh, I don't know if I could support Trump anymore. I'm not saying I'm going to oppose him, but I question enough of what he's doing. I don't think I can actively support him anymore. They'll settle for that, all right? And they put a lot of time and effort into this. But the fact that we reach that point and Trump can say to Pam and cast it down, okay, go. You only heard about some of the firings and some of the moves that were made at the DOJ and the FBI. Yeah, you gotta understand, there was a lot of stuff that went on at the Department of Justice, FBI. They can't even think of a way to create a fake news leak to talk about it. Because why they do the fake leak thing? Why they do the fake leak thing to sell a narrative? Here's why Trump was wrong to be doing this at the FBI or the DOJ right now. Here's this latest poster that got fired and why that's a bad thing. Okay, there's stuff going on. It's been going on, continues to go on inside the DOJ and the FBI. None of the social media influencers you're following know shit about any of this. It's not done where anybody can see it. They can't even come up with a fucking fake news leak about it. You understand what I'm telling you? Radical changes and transformations are happening. Now they try to control as much of this and steer it towards here's the latest fucking useless thing Cass and Dan and Pam and Trump have done at the DOJ, FBI. Everything they can see, they try to steer it and put guardrails around it. Here's why you can't trust Trump. Here's the latest Trump abuse. Here's the latest fucking dumb thing Trump ordered Pam to do. And Pam is fighting Trump, and she won't do what he wants her to do. And they whatever they can see, those are the guardrails they try to set up and steer the story. All of it based on anonymous links now. They try to steer it down that narrative and launch it and get it and hold it up in space so everybody can see it. 80% of what's been going on. They can't even do that. They can't even do the fake leak shit, okay? It took about 10 months. It took about 10 months for them, 80% now that you can't see, for them to say, okay, we got enough control now. Go. Green light. Been waiting for that. Green light. I love a green light. Green lights are so awesome. But you got to be ready. You got to make sure all your forces are in a row. All your assets are in place. All the I's dotted, T's crossed. And you give the go order. You give the green light. Yeah. A lot of people are really sad and upset, and they're listening to social media influencers all day saying, it didn't take this long. It should have happened a long time ago. Well, those people don't understand shit. They don't see shit. They only know what they see in the fake news. Why the hell are you even watching fake news at this point anyway? So I've had to say some harsh things to some people for the past 10 months because I can tell they're watching too much fake news. They're watching too many of that fifth branch of the funded by the vile people. They're listening to too many of these fake MAGA, neocon land people that come in among us, and just because they write books and they have a big following and they appear on big podcasts like with Steve Bannon or X Zones, we need to give them attention. Hey, half the time they're saying good stuff. The other half of the time need to pay attention. I know what's going on. I'm able to spit out the seeds half the time when these people segue into their latest Trump the clueless dumbass narrative talking point that they're not doing this organically. I mean, when this comes out, I know a lot of you are really going to be upset. I trusted that person. I thought they were just organically sharing their opinion with me. Oh no. So shit. Yeah, people are going to be really disappointed. Anyway, let's go on to the second thing I want to talk about. I kind of touched on this in the in the main thread. I kind of segued into that. The fake and gay New York City election that's happening tomorrow. So many people still watching neocon news. You know what Fox News and Wall Street Journal and National Review Online, what you call the neocon conservative media incorporated. The biggest goal, the one big agenda item that they have for you every day, if you watch them and you read them, is to constantly suck you back into the Team Red versus Team Blue matrix. That's their job. Their big job. You may have just escaped from it. Oh, thank God. Thank God I escaped from the Team Red versus Team Blue matrix. Thank God I escaped from that. And I understand that Team Red versus Team Blue is completely fake. That's not real. That's never been real. It's funded by the same people on both sides. Okay. But you start watching Fox News again. You start reading the Wall Street Journal. You start reading National Review Online. What the first thing they're going to do? Well, they frame everything on Fox News. They frame everything, the Wall Street Journal. They frame everything, National Review Online. And even many of your top social media influencers that you follow, even in MAGA land, okay? They frame everything as if that Team Red versus Team Blue puppet theater is real. They will instantly suck you back into that matrix, and you'll be trapped there again. Oh God, no! You'll be trapped in the Team Democrat versus Team GOP, as if it's real. I'm telling you, the same people, the same vile people, they fund the D Party wing of the Uniparty. They fund that, and they fund the R Party wing of the Uniparty. They fund both of them. They fund the various news media outlets that cover both sides sympathetically. Fox News what's Fox News' big job? How do they make their money? Well, they make the money schlepping and representing the Team Red. Team Red. Yay, Team Red. Yay, Team GOP. Fighting those evil Democratic Party bastards. That's how they make their money. And what does CNN do? What does CBS News, ABC News, NBC? Yeah, there's a lot more of them. I understand it. But okay, what does CNN do? Well, CNN says Team Blue. Yay, Team Blue. Fighting those evil Team Red GOP assholes. You follow the liberal progressive fake news, they'll suck you right in, convince you that Team Red versus Team Blue shit is real. And they'll get you supporting Team Blue. I'm going with all the Team Red guys. Meanwhile, there's Fox News over there. Fox News, Wall Street Journal, NRA. Yay, Team Red, Team GOP. And you watch them, listen to them, they'll suck you into that matrix. They'll be, yay, Team Red, and you'll argue with all the Team Blue people. Come out of them, my people, okay? It's a fake matrix. It's 100% fake. It's not real, okay? And it's not just the D Party wing that's fake and the R Party wing that's fake. All the political news organizations out there, the blue ones and the red ones, they're funded by the same people. What's their main job? The main job of CNN and MSNBC and those on the left, the conservative liberal, I mean the progressive liberal blue colored news, their job is to suck you in and convince you the fight between Team Red and Team Blue is real. And you need to pick a side and you need to cheer for your side. How about the Team Red guys? The Team Red, the R wing of the Uniparty, yeah, there's a whole media spectrum out there that backs Team Red, funded by the same vile people. Fox News is the biggest one. NRO, Wall Street Journal, yep, they'll try to palm themselves off as if they're conservative, whatever the hell that means these days. Okay. And their job is to cover all the good GOP R-wing stuff and make the D-wing look bad. And so everybody knows their role in the game. It's a game. Everybody knows their role. Team Red, this is Team Blue. Pick a side, okay? You pick Team Red, here's the media you need to follow. You need to start reading National Review online. You need to start watching Fox News. You pick Team Red, good job. And they'll suck you into that matrix and they'll keep you trapped there. If you pick Team Blue, great, you pick Team Blue. Here's the media outlets that you need to follow. You need to follow CNN, MSNBC, and New York Times and the Washington Post. Yes, there's a lot more of them. Okay. Pick one. Based on which one you pick, here's the media you listen to. And they kept most of this country trapped in that matrix for decades. Decades. And only recently did a lot of Americans begin to free themselves from that matrix. They started to come out of it. So you think the viral people that fund both Team Red and Team Blue and the media organizations that cover all the fake shit that Team Red and Team Blue are doing, you think they just threw their hands up and said, shit, they figured it out? We give up? Oh no, they didn't do that. They didn't give up. They created a fifth branch. They created Team Red, the GOP wing of the Uniparty. They created Team Blue, the Democrat wing of the Uniparty. Then they created the Team Red media to cover Team Red and all the wonderful things Team Red is doing. So you can cheer for Team Red. And they created the Team Blue media and all the cheer on all the wonderful things the Team Blue media do and show at the evil bastards in Team Red what they're doing. But they created a fifth branch now. They created a fifth one just for you MAGA people out there, just for you American. You're not on Team Red, you're not on Team Blue anymore. But they're not neglecting you. They still want to influence you. They're just getting a lot more clever about how they go about doing that. Yeah. That election occurring tomorrow in New York City is not real. It's as fake as, a $28 bill. It's fake. And you watch Fox News? What have they been doing on Fox News on right now? Yeah, it's safe for me to watch Fox News because I know what these fucking people are, right? I know what they are. I'm not in the Team Red versus Team Blue matrix any longer. I know what Fox News is. I can safely watch it. This is how I can critique what they've been doing. What have they been doing on the New York City election for the past couple of weeks? Drumming up all the fear. They're pulling, if people that don't know anybody that watch that, they come to believe that the team blue is winning and team red is losing. And it's a real fight here for who's going to win that election. And the Republicans are completely dropping the ball. And New York City is too blue. There's just too many brain dead liberals and progressives in that city that Madame is going to win easily, and there's nothing they can do about it. They're covering it as if it's a real election every damn day. Fox News is doing that from the right now, from Team Red. Meanwhile, CNN, MSNBC, yes, I watch them too sometimes, and the New York Post and all the New York Times and all these other left-wing team blue media outlets out there, they're covering it as if it's a real election also. And they're cheering on the Democrats. Yeah, it's troubling. The guy's really a lunatic, but hey, at least our team is winning. Okay, yeah, they're having to frame it that way. But both sides are pretending it's a real election. And it's not. It's not a real election. All elections are fake and gay. Fake, gay, and rigged. And you have to guard your mind because there are almost every media outlet you watch that covers politics is going to try to suck you into the matrix and claim this is real. The polls are real. Oh my God, Madame, wow, what a read. The election's real. It was rigged long ago. However much functional can be. I know I talked earlier in the broadcast about what Harmeet and Eagle Ad and Ken Paxton are doing on election integrity. All this, a lot of great things happening in that space. But the people who've been rigging New York City elections for a long time are still there. And they probably don't even need the millions of Social Security numbers, fake Social Security number voter registrations and mail-in ballots to successfully rig that one, okay? It'll take a while to root out the election fraud in some of these big blue cities. But that's not a real election occurring tomorrow. Not in New York City, no. Now we have, and between now and November 2026, you're going to see a lot of amazing shit come out about Act Blue and about how they rigged that 2020 election, what they did, the vital role Social Security numbers played, the role the NGOs that were paid vast sums of dark money, or I was stolen from our treasury, by the way. The NGOs out there in the election space, like the one owned by Stacey Abrams, you'll be finding out stuff that they were doing via Act Blue and other dark money organizations to take fake Social Security numbers, use them to create fake voter registrations forms, send them in, and then request. And then after that voter was successfully registered, they used that account to ask for a ballot. And then the same NGO people got the ballots mailed to them and they filled them out and they mailed them in. Yes, this is how they did it. All coming out the next year. So I'm not worried about 2026. That's another thing. The people that tell you that the elections are real, Republicans need to step up their ballot harvesting. We need to get better at, early voting and ballot harvesting than the Democrats. And there's a big push, within MAGA right now to support this idea. And I question it. There's a lot of stuff happening. I mean, they found the burn bags. Trump and Tulsi did. Oh, they are not making that up. They found burn bags for the 2020 election. Somebody just very helpfully collected all of that Nothing's happening. There's no plan. Somebody just very helpfully collected all of that key evidence, stuck it in a burn bag, left it somewhere quietly, still very quietly. And they discovered it. It's like that whole room full of James Comey evidence, from the James Comey McCabe FBI days that Cat Patel said, walking there, oh wow, look at all this shit. They found a whole room full of burn bags, stuff that was supposed to be destroyed, just sitting there. Mm-hmm. And then we found out, oh, there's a burn bag, or at least maybe several burn bags, full of 2020 election evidence. And Tulsi Gabbard and her DNI, 17 intelligence agencies are going through it. Yeah, we're going to be delivering a report to President Trump soon about this. But yeah, I have no illusions about that election tomorrow, despite all the things that are going to be happening in election space over the next 12 months. That election tomorrow in New York City is fake, and as gay as Liberace, man. I mean, it is fake. You will watch all of these media, news media, political media, covering it as if it's a real election. That's not a real election. We're not there yet. It's gonna take another couple months to get there. When the lid gets taken off of this, and the evidence comes out, and one of their last, well, they have a couple big lies left. 9/11. When I say a big lie that hasn't collapsed on them yet, I mean there's still enough of the public out there that believes it, that it hasn't collapsed yet. That Biden was fine. Okay, that one's collapsed. They can't defend that one anymore. I'm talking about the other big lies, the ones that still are. 9/11 is one of them. We still haven't gotten to the point that enough of the public will assent to that 9/11 was faked. But one of the last remaining big lies that they have is that Joe Biden won the 2020 election. And then he got 81 million votes. They are heavily invested in that one. And when it collapses, it's going to be epic. And I believe that collapse coming in the next couple of months. But the New York City election is tomorrow. And I have no illusions about it because the same people who've been rigging elections, the same machine that's been rigging elections in New York City is still there. But you'll be watching the fake news covering this. Both sides now. Fake news on both sides. And that fifth red-headed stepchild, the new one, are going to be covering that election as if it's real. The last couple of minutes, I want to go over these two things very quickly. You're noticing a lot of Republican Congress members come out now saying it's time for Donald Trump to stop killing all of these narco terrorists with these illegal strikes on these boats. He needs to stop doing that. And now when people find out, and this was kind of related, fake war on drugs and the trucking industry. I'm going to show you how those are both related in 2 minutes. A lot of the people that you consider safe in the GOP party, the conservative wing, are part of a vast criminal network. That vast criminal network relies on the drugs being successfully smuggled into the country. That's why they're not happy with Donald Trump right now. They're not happy with Pete Hegseth. They're very disappointed and upset that the U.S. military is on the land border and the land border is now closed. It's very hard to truck in a lot of the drugs like they used to. So they've been forced to go back to the boats. Boats are more easily spotted, and it probably never occurred to them at the time they made the big shift. It took them a couple months to do it. The Trump and Hegseth would simply start blowing them up. probably never occurred to them. So now they're kind of stuck, see. The local, okay, there's an international crime syndicate that runs much of America still. I don't mean in D.C. Trump's managed to take enough functional control away from the crime syndicate, the international, transnational crime syndicate there. He's called them, but they still control enough of the states, especially enough of our big strategic cities, our blue cities. They still have control there. But a lot of the local affiliates, their money to pay their people comes from the local criminal trades, prostitution, bookmaking, drugs, human trafficking, child trafficking. And Trump has put a serious dent into the profitability of these local crime networks around places like Chicago, Memphis, Washington, D.C. by doing what he's been doing, federalizing these areas and bringing in the federal agents and the National Guard. He's put a serious dent into the profits that were being generated by these local crime affiliates. In case you're confused about why you're suddenly seeing a lot of these good old boy country club, Chamber of Commerce, Republican lawmakers come out and say, Donald Trump needs to stop. Someone needs to stop this guy. Stop him from blowing up these boats. We need to go back to the fake war on drugs. Yeah, that's exactly. They don't want to go back to the fake war. The one we had for 50 years, they want to go back to that. They're desperate to go back to that. Everything was fine. Everything was fine when we had a fake war on drugs. The drugs kept coming in, the money kept flowing. Oh, it's so sad now that we have a real war on drugs. So these people are kind of being forced out into the open. Now, let me tell you about another thing I'm very unhappy with. This is related. The immigration thing, the war on drugs, and all the shit that's suddenly surfacing in the U.S. trucking industry. These are not disparate, separate things. It's all related now. Drugs, immigration, trucking. Keep your eye on the family of the old, Dan Aykroyd Caddyshack. Remember, they had him playing that simping guy. Bill Murray was perfect as the groundskeeper in the original Caddyshack. When they shot Caddyshack 2, somebody got, Bill Murray couldn't do it. They said, let's bring in the other Saturday Night Live comedian. They brought in Dan Aykroyd. And the movie didn't quite work, but he did have some good scenes, One of my favorite lines from that movie is when he's about to hit this watermelon or whatever it was with a golf club. And he keeps saying in this weird voice, keep your eye on the food. Keep your eye on the food. Okay, so I want you guys, here's what I want you to do. I'm going to say it in my Dan Aykroyd voice. Keep your eye on the trucking industry. Keep your eye on the trucking industry. And I'm telling you why you need to keep your eye on the trucking industry. It's been kept mostly invisible until now because all the eyes are on the left side of the spectrum when it comes to the drugs and the illegal immigration and the shit going on in the trucking industry. On the left. Oh my God, the Democrats opened the border and facilitated this mass migration into the country. Oh my God, the Democrats, they want these drugs to come in here. And the bodies are stacking up in the morgues and all these blue cities being run by these Democrats. Oh, so terrible. Oh my God, states like California and New York City have been handing out commercial driver's licenses to illegal immigrants that can't even read or speak English. They've been handing out these CDLs like they're candy. You're just looking at the left side of the spectrum now. Okay. Slowly surfacing is the right side of the spectrum. I'm explaining to you why certain members of our Congress. The good old boy Country Club Chamber of Commerce GOP people now, the Uniparty GOP people, are growing increasingly nervous. Let me explain it. Let me explain to you the entire half of the spectrum you haven't been seeing yet, but you're starting to see it now. Democrats didn't do that mass migration by themselves. Oh, no. No, they had help. A lot of help. And the war on drugs for 50 years. You have people on the right wing of the spectrum playing their role in the fake war on drugs to keep the money flowing. Here's what you're going to find out when it comes to the trucking industry. You're about to find out what the good old boy Country Club Chamber of Commerce, GOP, Uniparty assholes have been doing to you for the past decade or so. The new way they found to sell you out. You know, it wasn't enough that they spent most of the 1990s under Clinton going along with the absolutely fucking insane trade policies and trade deals under the Clintons and H.W. Bush. It wasn't enough that they facilitated that. The absolutely fucking insane trade deals that they American workers and farmers and everybody got the shaft. And they were helping facilitate that. While they're also offshoring, and now you have to understand, this is the GOP Country Club Chamber of Commerce guys. Now, I'm not talking about Democrats here. Spent the 1990s and the 2000s explaining to blue-collar Americans, now, I'm sorry, you're just the 20th century's designated losers. We're offshoring all of these industries, and you're just going to have to, learn the code or whatever the fuck. It's not enough. They found new and unique and exotic ways to sell you out over the last 30 years while pretending to so nobly fight for you. They found a new way to sell your ass out. New, very lucrative way to sell you out. Keep your eye on the trucking industry. Keep your eye on the trucking industry. Is the reason I'm telling you this. If you're under the impression that most trucking companies and firms that are hiring these illegal immigrants can't even fucking speak or read English after they get handed a CDL by somebody in California, you see, it doesn't matter how many CDLs they hand out like candy if none of the trucking firms are hiring any of these people. Who do you think owns most of the trucking firms in this country? You think that the Charlie are eating liberals? Well, they're not. The same GOP, Country Club, Chamber of Commerce, Mitt Romney clubs that sold your ass out by signing all those insane trade deals, allowing all those absurd tariffs on U.S. goods overseas, and never saying a fucking word about it. All those guys that played a direct role in offshoring all of our key industries and literally gutting the American middle class, shipping the steel, and all these other industries overseas, making money off of doing that while they were fighting for you. Let me explain to you the new exotic way they found to sell you out. They were completely on board with a mass migration into this country because they wanted that cheap foreign labor. Wanted it. They demanded it. So if you're surprised to discover that there are thousands, literally thousands, of illegal immigrant drivers controlling what are literally 18 tons steel missiles on our highways, and they can't even read or speak English. They can't read the road signs. You're shocked to discover how did this happen? And there'll be people on Fox News and NRO, but they instantly leap to tell you this is a Team Red versus Team Blue problem, and they're going to fix it. It's not the Team Red or Team Blue problem. Nope. Because the same good old boy, DOP, Chamber of Commerce pricks that sold you out on everything else, sold you out on this too. I saw that mass migration coming. They helped plan it. They were in on it. And they said, I like this idea of bringing in a new slave class. I like the idea of bringing in 20 million. However many we can get. Turned out to be 20 million or so. I like this idea of bringing in a new slave class. Because Joe, who's a Native American truck driver, cost me $175,000 a year. With basic wages, benefits, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, all that shit I have to pay for. Because he's legal. He's a Native American now. I have to pay him a high wage. I would much rather bring in a dozen Jose's from Guatemala and El Salvador, or a Parman from Iraq or wherever. Okay, I'd rather bring those guys in and pay them $60,000 a year. I don't have to worry about Social Security. I don't have to worry about any benefits. For every Joe I get rid of, I can hire 3 Jose's. That's awesome. I want to do this. Keep your eye on the trucking industry. Keep your eye on the trucking industry. This is going. Trump is showing you something. He knows who is in on it. He knows what they've been doing. So you're starting to see rising panic amongst some GOP Uniparty guys. The left was out there taking the brunt of this because their role, and everybody knows about that, they foment the mass migration. They have the NGOs and the fake Catholic charities and all that shit to create the caravans and bring them in here and resettle them. Yeah, you see that. It's the other half of the pipeline that you haven't seen yet, but it's starting to surface now. Who's hiring all of these people when they get here? Who's giving them jobs? Who's covering up for them? Who's making massive bank on replacing their American workers with this new illegal slave class that will work for less than half of what the American workers will? Who's doing that? When so many people find out who it is that's doing this, you're going to literally shit yourself because you're still programmed to think in Team Red versus Team Blue. Thank God for Ted Cruz. Thank God for Josh Hawley. I'm so glad John Thune and all these guys are out there. Thank God Chip Roy. Thank God Dan Crenshaw. Thank God they're all out there fighting for me. Oh, and you're going to be so fucking disappointed when you find out what your local good old boy country club, DOP, Chamber of Commerce prick has been up to. You're not going to be happy. But so far, you only see one side of that. I'm telling you, the other side is coming. Trump's known for years why Ronna McDaniel and the Mitt Romney clones that had functional control of the GOP until recently, why they were fighting him off. So desperate to try to stop him. Oh, he's very well aware of why they're trying to stop him. Yep. Both sides are afraid of him. So far, you don't see on the role the left side plays, the left uniparty wing plays in this. The right wings mostly manage to pretend that they're They're on Trump's side. They're fighting for us. They're not going to be able to maintain that illusion for much longer. And that's the beautiful thing. So it's afternoon now, 12:10. I want to thank all 2,544 of you that are watching. I hope you enjoyed this rather unique take on current events. One reason I'm able to do what I can do is because I have a Substack. Yeah, I have to do this at the end. Sorry. Usually I don't do this. I've had to avoid talking about, support and that stuff for years at this point because I have a Substack and it's doing really well. It was doing really well. Okay, but I'm now at the point where I'm struggling to pay some of my bills. So I'm forced to do this. I have to start talking about this. Apologies. I have a Substack. If you like the fact that I say stuff that nobody else out there is saying, and I cover stuff from a perspective nobody else covers it from, you can help support me by getting a subscription to my Substack, where I will be putting up a column later today. Nothing at my Substack is behind a paywall. I want to be very clear on this. You're not paying for access to anything at the Substack. This is not a pay-to-read Substack, which is what so many other people are doing out there. Every single thing on my Substack is free. Every video, every post. Okay. If you get a paying subscription, it's because you want to support my work and you want to help me to continue to do this full time. If you'd rather give directly, I have a Cash App. So, not Cash App. And I will be back on Wednesday at 10 a.m. And, I'll have a couple things that I can see are developing. We'll cover the race, whoever's going to win that damn thing in New York City, and also the one in Virginia, the one in New Jersey. We'll be talking about that and some other things I didn't have time to get to today. Okay, but I really appreciate every one of you making me a part of your Monday morning and into your afternoon. And I will see you on Wednesday at 10 a.m. sharp. God bless.